So the iPhone X has portrait mode. How well does it really work? Well, today we're gonna take a look at it compared to a full frame DSLR by Canon. Let's check it out.
One more?
Stay there. Hey, how's it going, guys? Chad Sway here. So the iPhone X is finally in, we all know that, and how good really is this camera? So today we're gonna do a quick little test putting the iPhone X against a full frame DSLR. Now, I'm not saying, or maybe I am saying, that this iPhone X is gonna take out a full frame sensor. Now look how big the sensor is. It's probably about, what, 8 times bigger than an iPhone sensor, which is 2/3 of an inch. So now let's see. We're gonna do a few shots here and we're gonna see how well this iPhone X works. Now, in my opinion, it looks like it's taking out a DSLR. And this is a good comparison because online right now you can find a Canon 6D Mark I, the first generation, for about $1,000 even with the lens. We got this bad boy for about $1,000 and it works well. I mean, got a 50mm f1.8 lens. Now we shot it the lowest aperture about f2.8 just to keep it a little bit fair since the iPhone telephoto lens is in a really fast aperture for the zoom and the blur background effect. So we're gonna have a few pictures up and I want you guys to look at them and really see if you could tell the difference versus the DSLR full frame lens versus an iPhone, something that fits in your hand. So let's take a look. All right, guys, now keep in mind these shots are in broad daylight. We have some great lighting behind me. There's a full glass set of windows lighting Becky's face here. Now I want you to take a look at these two photos. Now camera A and camera B, which one is from the actual DSLR? And can you really distinguish which one is from the iPhone X? Now here's a little bit of behind the scenes of me taking pictures with the full frame and then the iPhone X. Now can you just see how nice these colors are already popping? I don't want to give away the details, but just look at those colors. Against camera A and camera B, we do have some details in the background with some brick wall. All right, in just a visual example, I want to show you guys how small the iPhone is compared to a normal DSLR. Look at the two differences. That thing is huge compared to a phone. Now, so take that into consideration as well. All right, and for the final verdict, now time to reveal these photos. Camera A was taken on the iPhone X and camera B was on the Canon 6D for this coffee shop photo. If you were, I wouldn't say tricked, or if you couldn't tell, it goes to show how well Apple really is doing with this portrait mode effect. You probably already know from now, but camera A was taken on the iPhone X and camera B on the Canon. Again, on this one, my exposure was a little bit too high, but keep in mind, like I said, we are shooting a RAW. But just, you've seen the video of me taking the photo. It's just the ease of use of this phone, and the camera on this phone is so easy. All right, now looking at the last two shots, I'm gonna go ahead and zoom in here so you can see the differences. But as you can see now, the iPhone still looks great. It still looks, nice, but at the same time, it is way overexposed. You could tell that the small sensor on the iPhone is really pushing its limits with the software and the ISO, which is false lighting. We all know that. And on the right, on the Canon, you're able to just push these colors and keep the richness and the tones. You notice how with the Canon, her face is lit, very well. It still looks really good. Has some nice shadows, some nice warm lighting from the golden hour setting in. It's about where the sun's setting, and you see how the background is darkened, and it's still keeping the true colors of the leaves, not overexposed. As you can see for the iPhone, it did a really good job at exposing everything. That false HDR. For the Canon, it not only does it have high dynamic range, obviously, but you can see just the colors, they just pierce right through, and they're just warmer. They're more aesthetically pleasing. In my opinion, one can differ, but you can see, I mean, her pants are not so washed out. They're more of a dark, but they're not crushed. And then the iPhone, the left side of her face, right where the hair is curving, it's a little blown out, it's a little washed out, and that's the processing, pre and post processing with the iPhone X. And these are both shot in portrait mode for the iPhone, and obviously just DSLR mode, manual exposure and everything, obviously for the Canon. These are all shot at f2.8, and the iPhone, I believe, is 2.4, 2.8, the automatic portrait mode effect. So that's it, guys. That's a wrap. That's kind of what we're looking at. But if we look back at these photos, just take a quick glance. I mean, it is pretty hard to tell. And again, I'm not the best photographer, but if you were to just look at these photos once again, you're just like, wow, it is pretty hard to tell them apart, to be honest. So I hope you guys liked it. Hope it wasn't too long. Leave your comments down below before anyone flips out. I'm not trying to say that iPhone X is going to take over DSLRs or full frame. If I were to shoot anything professional or anything high quality, I'm definitely going to shoot with a actual camera. I mean, I have 2 cameras myself, and I'm using Becky's camera, the full frame DSLR, for a lot of pictures and video as well. You could get some great video out of it. Thanks again, guys. Go ahead and leave comments, like, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.